Hello and welcome to this session. Are you ready to transform into an exceptional instructor? You're in the right place. In the next few minutes, we will uncover the keys to effective teaching and training. Get set to get an inspiration in the world of education. Objectives. At the end of this session, you will be able to explain the definition of teaching, list the steps of effective teaching, and explain the principles of teaching. Definition of teaching. Master trainer Daniel is in a conversation with instructor trainee Hari.
Teaching or training is the art of facilitating the acquisition of knowledge, skills, and insights.
So, what are the different approaches to teaching? There are two fundamental approaches to teaching: teacher-centered teaching and learner-centered teaching. In teacher-centered teaching, the trainer assumes the role of the main knowledge provider. It can be likened to a seasoned craftsman passing on the insider knowledge to apprentices. For instance, an experienced instructor serves as a guiding force, sharing practical insights and valuable know-how in the realm of electronics, ensuring that the trainees benefit from the wealth of experience. Learner-centered teaching involves the instructor taking on the role of a coach, fostering self-directed learning. It is like helping their trainees uncover and build their own skills. For instance, in a dressmaking class, instead of providing fixed patterns, trainees undertake project-based assignments like creating a garment. They explore various fabric choices and techniques independently. Steps of effective teaching.
Now, we are going to delve into the steps of effective teaching. It is an important aspect of our training methodology. Let's get started.
Effective teaching is a comprehensive journey and it involves the following steps. Step 1. Understand your trainees. Step 2. Set clear learning objectives. Step 3. Align objectives, methods, and assessments. Step 4. Communicate expectations. Step 5. Prioritize important topics. Step 6. Break down complex ideas. Step 7. Adapt your role. Step 8. Reflect and adjust. Let us now see each step in detail. Step 1. Understand your trainees. When we teach or train, it is not just about giving information. It is about helping trainees learn that information. Different things about trainees can affect how they learn. For example, where they come from and their age can change how they see the world. Their background in certain subjects can make them think about the problems in different ways. Step 2. Set clear learning objectives. Effective teaching involves ensuring that your learning objectives, assessments, and instructional activities work together seamlessly. For instance, if your learning objective is for dressmaking trainees to master garment construction techniques, your assessment should require them to demonstrate their sewing and dressmaking skills. Your instructional activities should provide them with ample opportunities to practice these techniques through hands-on projects, ensuring that they can confidently apply their knowledge in creating well-crafted garments. Step 3. Align objectives, methods, and assessments. In effective teaching, alignment is crucial. Learning objectives, teaching methods, and assessments should harmonize, ensuring that they all contribute to achieving the desired outcomes. In electronics, if the objective is for trainees to grasp the circuit design concepts, the teaching method might involve hands-on experimentation with circuits, and the assessment might include practical projects or tests that evaluate their understanding of circuit design principles. Step 4. Communicate expectations. Recognize that trying to cover too much material can overwhelm trainees and hinder their learning. Take into account factors like class size, trainee backgrounds, and the course's place in the curriculum. Prioritize the most important knowledge and skills to focus on. This allows trainees to gain a deep understanding of essential concepts rather than just skimming the surface of many topics. Step 5. Prioritize important topics. As an expert, it is easy to forget what it is intuitive to you may not be to your trainees. Break down complex ideas into smaller, digestible steps. Imagine you are teaching someone in a training program for dressmaking. You should not just assume they know everything, but rather you should explain each step and demonstrate it carefully, just as you would do when teaching a complex subject. Step 6. Break down complex ideas. Be flexible in your approach. Take on different teaching roles based on your learning objectives. Think of these roles as tools in your teaching toolkit. For instance, if you want to encourage critical thinking, play the role of a challenger who stimulates trainees to question, analyze, and debate ideas. Step 7. Adapt your role. Teaching is an evolving process. Regularly assess your teaching methods. Be open to feedback from trainees and colleagues. Consider it as a continuous self-assessment of your teaching performance. If you notice that certain methods or materials are not achieving the desired results, be willing to adapt and try new strategies. Step 8. Reflect and adjust. Building on the previous step, use the feedback and reflections to make continuous improvements in your teaching. Think of your teaching approach as a dynamic project that can always be enhanced. You should be prepared to adjust your teaching methods over time to enhance the learning experience of your trainees. This ongoing improvement ensures that your teaching remains effective and relevant. Principles of teaching. Principles of teaching are like guiding lights that illuminate the path of effective teaching. They are principle of motivation, principle of learning by doing, principle of interest, principle of linking with life, principle of definite aim, principle of recognizing individual differences, principle of selection, principle of planning, principle of division, principle of revision, principle of fun and creativity, and principle of democratic dealing. Let us explore these principles in detail. Principle of motivation. Motivation is the fuel of learning. To motivate trainees, think of your class as an exciting adventure. For example, when teaching electronics, you can use intriguing experiments to spark curiosity and drive learning. Principle of learning by doing. Active participation in the learning process is key. This principle emphasizes that trainees should be hands-on learners. In a dressmaking class, instead of solely discussing garment construction techniques, trainees should actively practice them on a sewing projects or real fabric samples to see these techniques in action. Principle of interest. Interest is the secret sauce of effective teaching. In a dressmaking class, where trainees are not just learning stitching techniques but are engaged in a fashion design project, can sustain the trainees' engagement. Principle of linking with life. Learning should connect with real-life experiences. For instance, instead of just discussing electrical theories, trainees must engage in hands-on projects that simulate real-world scenarios. Principle of definite aim. Setting clear objectives helps trainees focus on what they need to learn. In a training program for dressmaking, a clear aim might be for trainees to master a specific sewing technique or garment construction skill. This provides them with a specific goal to work toward. Principle of recognizing individual differences. Each trainee is unique, and acknowledging these differences is crucial for effective teaching. In a classroom, you will have trainees with various learning styles and abilities. A good instructor adapts to cater to these differences. Principle of selection. Selecting the most relevant and up-to-date information is crucial. Consider teaching technology. In this rapidly evolving field, choosing current and pertinent content is essential. Principle of planning. Just as a project manager plans every aspect of a project, instructors should plan their teaching activities. In an electronics class, a well-structured plan might involve organizing topics in a logical sequence. This will make it easier for trainees to understand the progression of electronic concepts and build their knowledge systematically. Principle of division. Dividing complex topics into manageable units is like breaking a large puzzle into smaller, more manageable pieces. For instance, in a training program for dressmaking, you might divide the subject into specific techniques and skills to facilitate understanding. Principle of revision. Repetition is the key to long term retention. For instance, regularly practicing the execution of a particular stitch, like the backstitch or hemming, ensures that the skill becomes ingrained in memory. Principle of fun and creativity. Learning should be enjoyable. In a dressmaking class, inspiring trainees to unleash their creativity while having a good time enhances the overall experience. Whether experimenting with unique stitching patterns or designing innovative garments, the principle of fun and creativity not only makes the learning process engaging, but also aligns with the notion of creating a vibrant and enjoyable educational atmosphere. Principle of democratic dealing. Involve trainees in decision making and activities. In a training program for dressmaking, you might allow trainees to have a say in selecting specific garment construction techniques or sewing methods to focus on in their training.
Incorporating these principles into your teaching practice can create an engaging, effective, and rewarding learning experience for both you and your trainees.
Thank you, sir, for your guidance and wisdom in helping us becoming effective instructors. This brings us to the end of this session. In this session, we have learned the definition of teaching, the steps of effective teaching, and the principles of teaching. Thank you for watching. See you in the next session.